Good morning, students. Hope you all are well at home. Today we are going to start our first chapter of political science, that is Constitution, Why and How. In this chapter, why do we need a constitution? We are going to discuss what is the necessity of constitution. Today we will discuss it. You have seen that in the absence of rules for the use of the road, there would be a collision between vehicles and individuals, not many a times in a day, but at any minutes in the day or at night. Here the emphasis is on the rules to create an orderly society or civilized society. It means with the help of rules, we can make our society civilized. Now, what does a constitution mean? The constitution is that body of rules and laws according to which a society, state is governed. It means that the constitution, it is a set of rules according to which a government is run. Now, what is the necessity of the constitution? We are going to discuss. With the help of these points, we will discuss the necessity of the constitution. Now, our first point is a set of rules to create an orderly society. We can create an orderly society with the help of rules. Moreover, the rules that we frame should be just and reasonable. It means that rules should not be favored for a particular group of society. Rules should be implemented equally on the society. Now, our second point is Constitution determines the forms of government and powers to be exercised by various organs of government. We are going to discuss. The Constitution determines the forms of government like monarchy, democracy, and aristocracy, etc. In India, we have democracy form of government where people elect their representative who rules on people behalf. Now, various organs of government. Government have three organs like legislature, executive and judiciary. They all have the separate work. Like legislature, it makes the laws. Executive, it will implement the laws. And judiciary, it will take the decision according to the laws. They will not interfere to each other. They all are independent. Now, our fourth point is third point is Constitution limits the power of the rulers, or that is government. The government is in India does not possess unlimited powers. Part third of the Constitution deals with fundamental rights of citizens like equality, freedom, and right of freedom of religion and freedom from arbitrary arrest. Our rights act as a check not only on the executive but also on the parliament and the other legislature bodies. So, governments limits the power of the rulers. Now, our fourth point is the Constitution set out the basic objects and ideals of the society. The Constitution, our Constitution main aim was that to create a sovereign democratic republic in the country. It seeks to promote fraternity among the people of India. There was also an assurance to protect dignity of the individuals and the unity of the nation. Now, our fifth point is the Constitution makes clear the rights of citizens. The Constitution, the citizenship is a relationship between the individuals and the state. The Constitution of the United States recognize the principles of dual citizenship, that is, the citizenship of the country and the citizenship of state, like California and New York and other state. It means they have the American peoples, they have the dual citizenship. But in India, our constitution provide a single citizenship, that is Indian citizens is not based on the any concept of ethnicity or religion. In other words, It is not confined to people belonging to any particular race or religion. All people are entitled to some basic rights such as the right to life, right against exploitation, and freedom of religion. So we can say the constitution makes clear the rights of the citizenship. It means every country they have a different procedure for the citizenship. Now our sixth point is constitution reveals fundamental identity of the people. Now there are three identity. First is political identity, second is moral identity, and third, a few shared ideas or values. Now what is political identity? Political identity means by accepting the basic rules and religion by the peoples, it called political identity. Now what is moral identity? Moral identity which suggests various kinds of controls over the way we behave. And third, a few shared ideas or values. It means that our constitution provides some basic characteristics. These characteristics are the values of the Indian constitution. So we can say the constitution reveals the fundamental identity of the people. So these are the basic points of the necessity of the Indian constitution. Hope it is clear to all. Now our next topic is the constitution, the Indian constitution. It is a beautifully balanced document. A beautifully balanced document means our constitution have three important organs. First is, already we have discussed these points. First is legislature, second is executive, and third is judiciary. They all have the separate work. Like legislature, it makes the laws. Executive, it will implement the laws. In judiciary, it will take the decision according to the laws. It means they all have the separate work. They will not interfere to each other. Now our second point is also a living document. Our constitution, it is also a living document. Now what is a living document? A living document means a constitution is a living document. It should the changing needs of the growing nation. It means we can change the constitution or we can amend the constitution according to the needs of the people, according to the needs of the nation. So it is a living document, and our constitution presents mixture of flexibility and the hardness. Now what is flexibility? Flexibility, it means when an amendment is done by simple majority, it is in that situation we can say it is flexible. And when amendment is done by special majority means it required third majority. In that situation we can say it is hard. So it is a living document. Now our hope it is also clear. And now our next topic is how was the Constitution of India made? We will discuss. Now, composition of the Constituent Assembly. Constituent Assembly has been set up by the Cabinet Mission Plan of 1946 under the scheme of indirect election proposed by the Cabinet Mission. The members of the Constituent Assembly were elected by the provincial assemblies. The representatives of the princely states were nominated by the rulers of those states. Now, with the help of these points, we will discuss. Number of states. Each province and each princely states were allotted seats roughly in the ratio of 1 to a million, that is a population of 10 lakh, will be represented by one member. Thus, the Constituent Assembly meant for undivided India was to consist of 385 members. The provinces were to elect 292 members, whereas princely states were allotted 93 seats. And after the partition of India, the members vote reduced 308. Now our third point is the most important, our second point is the most important figure in the assembly. We will discuss. Now, Dr. Sachidanand Sinha, he was the entering president of the Constituent Assembly, and he was elected on 9 December 1946, and he was the oldest person of the House. So he was elected the interim president of the Constituent Assembly. Now, on 11 December 1946, Dr. Rajendra Prasad, he was elected a permanent president of the Constituent Assembly. And Dr. Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, Vallabhbhai Patel, Maulana Abul Kalam Azad, these are also the important person, and their contribution was outstanding. Dr. Ambedkar, he was the chairman of drafting committee. Now, our third point is the Constituent Assembly was representative body. India's Constituent Assembly represented all the regions and broad cross sections of the society like Hindu, Muslims, Sikhs, the Christians, the Parsis, and the Anglo-Indians and others. The weaker sections and in a particular the scheduled caste and scheduled tribes were given representation in the assembly. The Sikhs, the Anglo-Indians, and the Christians were represented by such as eminent persons as Hukam Singh, Frank Anthony, and John Mathai. So these are the important persons. It means the Constituent Assembly was a representative body. All the sections of the society was included. So we can say our the Constitution Assembly, it was a representative body. So it is the composition of the Constituent Assembly. Hope it is clear to all. Thank you so much.